It's June 10th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR today. In this show, we're going to talk about strike and strife dominating. We're also going to be talking about 28 weeks of drama, maybe the unnecessary drama kinds. Also, IBIT sets records and why that's awesome for Bitcoin. Also, MSTR earnings projections. And I've got to warn you, it's scary good. It's scary good. None of this is financial advice. I do have some epic Michael Saylor video clips you're not going to want to miss, including one with his Jordan Peterson interview, which was unbelievably epic. Please do comment below. Let me know if you're pretty pumped that Bitcoin seems to be on the way to setting an all-time high this week. In fact, let's make it this call of the week. Now let's post all-time high in the comments. Put ATH. Let's get it there. Let's be a magnet. We're already closing in on 110 as I'm recording this right now. So let's get a new all-time high this week. And also, let's dive on in. Okay, today's first post is from Brian Brookshire. 66.4 million is what the Strike ATM did. 45.8 million was what the Strife ATM brought in. $0 MSTR ATM. The Stride IPO has not closed yet. We will likely see $1 billion raise show up in next week's purchase. So Michael Saylor will be buying some Bitcoin this week, which is a great thing always. And next week, we will have well over $1 billion Bitcoin buy if these projections are correct. So let's go strategy. Ben Workman also commented on this, the Strike ATM, the Strife ATM, the 0% MSTR, because he is fired up as he should be. Let's go. Jeff Walton says 1,045 Bitcoin acquired with 0 MSTR ATM dilution. Higher Bitcoin per share. Stride IPO likely clear this week, and $1 billion Bitcoin buyer on the horizon. And of course, that's Michael Saylor and strategy. 21 days until Q2 close. Fire times are abound. Higher. And then Jeff says, look at the chart. And this is from Jane. It's just a beautiful thing seeing where strategy was with some little micro buys over time with Strike, and then Strike's getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And then Strife comes into town, and boom, here we go. Very exciting times. Let's keep this growth trajectory going. Supply Shocks wants us to look at this graph of get in loser. We're going to 100 trillion. And this is 28 weeks of unnecessary drama. If you guys remember this run up, then there was 28 weeks of chop. And then this is actually about where I got in right around here at the end of that 28 weeks, very luckily for me. And then I got to experience this run up. And then, of course, the rundown, and then the 28 weeks of unnecessary drama. And what do you think comes next? Well, according to this chart, and we all know charts are 1,000% inaccurate, a lot of goodness. So let's go. Jeff says the only comparable metric between tech monopolies is market cap. Microsoft, 0.74% fiat USD dividend yield in 2024 with a 12% appreciation in the equity. That's 3.5 trillion. MSTR had a 74.3% reinvested Bitcoin yield in 2024 with a 358% appreciation in the equity. That's at 109 billion. Which way, modern man? And believe me, strategy and Michael Saylor specifically cannot speak highly enough of Microsoft from years past. But unfortunately, they are not going the way of the modern man and woman. They are not adopting the Bitcoin standard, and they will pay their share of pain. Jeff says, I guess demand for a truly scarce asset is pretty high. Who would have thought? Higher. And this is from the Bitcoin Archive, who shows the BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF becomes the fastest ever to break 70 billion, 5 times faster than the old record held by gold. It took gold 1,691 days, and Bitcoin did it in less than a year. Look at this chart. It is just not even close. Wow, exciting times are happening all around, and we are a part of this. MSTR, says Jeff, is a perpetual equity with a tax-advantaged Bitcoin dividend reinvestment program. Increasing Bitcoin per share forever through issuance of fiat fixed income instruments. What multiple is the market willing to pay for the best risk-adjusted perpetual Bitcoin drip equity? And then this just, it's so fun to see how clueless people are. I mean, this guy, Andy Swan, no one is going to pay a multiple on balance sheet asset appreciation. Jeff, set him straight. Okay, thank you. Bye, Andy. Okay, Brian says, what if Saylor turned the MSTR ATM off for a month? What if preferred fueled Bitcoin buys continued? What if the S&P 500 eligibility were just around the corner? What if Bitcoin was flirting with all-time highs? What if? And by the way, what if all of the above is true? Because it is. Let's go. Jeff says, at a Bitcoin price of 108,500, which we know we're about $1,000 higher than that right now as of my recording. MSTR is sitting on a $14.3 billion EBITDA earnings for Q2 2025. If 108 Bitcoin price holds, 14 billion of net income is greater than the last quarterly net income of all U.S. companies, with the exception of the top six public companies. It's 35 times Tesla's last quarter earnings, 67 times Palantir's last quarter earnings, and 3 times WMT's last quarter earnings. Let's just say higher. Let's just go ahead and say higher. Oh man, exciting times. And Chris says Bitcoin versus gold in one chart. And this chart is pretty awesome. Bitcoin is digital, gold is physical. Bitcoin supply is fixed, gold is finite. Nature is deflationary for Bitcoin, inflationary for gold. Control, decentralized, gold is centralized. Access, permissionless for Bitcoin, permissioned for gold. Transparency, auditable, and gold is opaque. Fort Knox, anybody? Geography is borderless, gold is bounded. Energy for Bitcoin's high frequency, gold's low frequency. Speed for Bitcoin is fast, gold slow. Frictions, low for Bitcoin, high for gold. Quality, sound. And then gold, fairly sound. And security is incorruptible, and gold is corruptible. Is there even a comparison, Peter Schiff? I ask you that. The Bitcoin therapist wants us to end on a high note, because if this is true, brace yourselves. Mike Alfred had posted, I really shouldn't be sharing this, so please do not like or retweet this. Obviously, he knew we were going to. But I just got a call from someone who needs to deploy $10 billion into Bitcoin by the end of the week. He's really worried that he won't be able to do it without moving the price over 115,000. Tough situation. Bitcoin, it's inevitable, because here's the reality. There's going to be so many situations that people literally are going to have to deploy money into Bitcoin, because they're going to be directed to do so. And they're just going to do it at any price, because they finally have submitted to the reality that it's going up forever, Laura. Now, I have a great video clip from Michael Saylor when we get back from thanking our sponsors. Let's be real. If you've ever tried to invest, especially as a beginner, you've probably asked yourself, how do I even find good stocks? What should I buy or sell right now? And seriously, what the hell is going on with the market today? I ask myself those same questions all the time. And that's exactly why I started using Investing Pro, the powerful new platform from investing.com that helps you make smarter investing decisions without drowning in information overload. One of my favorite features, Warren AI. It's like ChatGPT on the stock market, but with real-time data-backed answers straight from investing.com's massive financial database. Want to know why Nvidia dropped yesterday, or why now is a good time to buy Tesla? Just ask. Warren AI gives you instant, up-to-date insights you can actually act on. I recently asked it where to invest $10,000 right now, and the list of stocks that returned, fire, full of actionable ideas I hadn't even considered. Bottom line, if you want to invest smarter, faster, and with more confidence, Investing Pro with Warren AI is a game changer. Check it out now at investing-referral.com/MSTR. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business, no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR.
Months have been tremendous. All of the fundamental planets have aligned. Bitcoin's been acknowledged as the one digital commodity in the world by the administration. The banking regulators have given a green light to bank Bitcoin. The accountants have upgraded the accounting to fair value accounting. There's been a surge of Bitcoin treasury companies. There's like 100 public companies or more that are holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and every single week there's another announcement. I think that, it used to be we're focused on the halvings, but at this point, the entire natural supply of Bitcoin is only 450 Bitcoin available for sale every day. That's sort of about 45, $50 million a day at this level. That is all being consumed by the Bitcoin treasury companies, and the Bitcoin ETFs are coming on strong. So I'm very bullish. My forecast in July of last year in Nashville was Bitcoin's going to appreciate 29% a year on average for the next 21 years. And that moves it was about mid 65,000 to 13 million a coin in the year 2045. I'm getting more bullish on that forecast, but I'm certainly comfortable forecasting 30% a year ARR on average for the next 20 years. I think Bitcoin's up 57% a year for the past 4.5 years. Again, that's double the Mag 7. That's quadruple the S&P. That's 8 times real estate, and bonds are down 4%. So Bitcoin is smashing everything, Joe. I discovered Bitcoin 30 years into my career. So I started a company late 1989. For 30 years, I had been running an enterprise software company, MicroStrategy. We brought it public on the NASDAQ in 1998. Initially, we were focused upon one line of business, which is to sell software that allows banks or large retailers or insurance companies to analyze all of the data in their databases and assess risk and come up with marketing campaigns. Or if you wanted to figure out what sells with what and do market basket analysis or any kind of risk assessment, and you're a large enterprise, you would want to build a proprietary analytical system. We call that business intelligence. So that was successful. Then I was in my expansionary era in my 30s and in my 40s, and I wanted to create lots of things. And so I launched 10 other businesses. I bought up all the domain names like angel.com and alarm.com and strategy.com and hope.com. And I launched businesses, and some of them were singles, some were doubles. I bought voice.com. I sold it for $30 million. I sold the Angel business for about $100 million. The alarm.com business, we spun off. It's a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company today. And then I launched, I don't know, a dozen other things. They just whiffed. They failed.
What was your hit rate, just out of curiosity? Can you estimate it?
I would say that the thing I started with turned out to be the biggest success between 1990 and 2020. And then the next idea was a small, was a double, and the next one was a single, and the rest sputtered out. I spent a lot of time. They were my favorite idea, a great idea. I loved them. I invested a lot of money in them. It turned out the world didn't think the same way I did. I either overcomplicated it. And so it's an important part of the story, because by 2010, we had overexpanded as a company, and we'd launched, I wanted to be the conglomerate, 10, like the 10 different things. And I found that the one thing worked and the other 9 things didn't work. And I needed to focus. So we refocused on the core business. And for the next decade, I had 2 dual experiences. I had the experience professionally, and I had an experience personally in finance. Here's the professional experience.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR today. And here's my receipt from yesterday, a 0.556 share purchase of MSTR, filled at $379 as I purchase every trading day of 2025. I did my entire portfolio reveal yesterday. I'm up just about 14% on the year. So life is good. Let's keep on trucking. And speaking of life being good, hodl the line. Just 20 days left. I said this yesterday. I wouldn't mind if I had to make a new graphic, and it looks like Bitcoin might make me do that depending on how this week plays out. But right now we're at about 109,500 as of the time I'm recording this. Who knows where it's at when you're watching this, but I had to move the green line quite a ways up. I mean, if you guys remember, we were way down to here just a few days ago with this green line. So the buffer is back. Let's keep this buffer. Let's keep increasing it. Let's make a new graphic, because I would be happy to do so, because that means the buffer is even bigger. And that means that MSTR is one step closer to qualifying for the S&P 500 on June 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern. If we're above 97,000, that red line will make it happen together. So let's go on this. You know that I think it's inevitable. If it doesn't happen this quarter, it's going to happen on an upcoming quarter. And if MSTR doesn't get into the S&P 500 this year, it's going to get into the S&P 500. It's inevitable. I believe it. I hope that you do too. And like Michael Saylor says, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.